All right, if you're a business leader and you're using AI, listen up. The rulebook, it's been completely torn up and rewritten. What used to be a conversation about ethics has, well, it's suddenly become a minefield of hard law, with consequences that could seriously impact your bottom line. We're going to break down exactly what's changed, and more importantly, what you need to do about it starting right now. So, this all boils down to one really big question you have to ask yourself. Is the AI your company is using a genuine game changer? Or is it actually a ticking time bomb of legal and financial risk that you just haven't seen coming? Because believe me, in just the last couple of years, the ground has shifted under our feet, and it's shifted fast. I mean, just look at how fast this all happened. In January 2023, the Pentagon updates a directive. Seems pretty standard. But then, just 2 years later, we have binding international law and a direct ultimatum from the Department of Defense. This isn't some slow-moving trend. It's a full-on compliance avalanche, and it is happening in real time. And that brings us right here to this new reality, the AI minefield. The days of voluntary guidelines and vague ethical frameworks are over. That era is done. We are now in the age of hard law, with very real consequences for anyone who can't keep up. And look, don't think for a second this is some problem for the future. By mid-2025, a major survey confirmed it. AI shot right to the top of the list, becoming the #1 compliance headache for U.S. investment and fintech firms. The anxiety in the boardroom, it's very, very real, and it's backed by some pretty solid data. Okay, so what does this hard law actually look like when the rubber hits the road? Let's start at home with the first huge threat, one that's hitting the tech and defense sectors particularly hard, the Pentagon's ultimatum, and what it means for your government contracts. And let me tell you, the message could not be clearer. The Department of Defense isn't asking nicely anymore. They're telling the big AI labs, make your technology available for military use, or we will force you to comply. If your company is anywhere in that defense supply chain, this is a direct challenge to your entire business model. So you might be wondering, where did this come from? Well, it didn't just appear out of thin air. This comes directly from the Pentagon's updated rules on autonomous weapons systems and the enforcement of a White House memo on national security and AI from 2024. If you're a contractor, a subcontractor, or even just a software vendor for those companies, this policy puts your revenue at immediate risk. But here's the thing. The pressure isn't just domestic. While the Pentagon is tightening the screws at home, a totally different kind of threat is popping up that impacts your global supply chain, this time coming out of Southeast Asia. Let's talk about Vietnam's new AI law. Now, before we get into the weeds of the law, I just want you to look at this number. 2 billion Vietnamese dong. Let that sink in for a second. That's the potential fine for a single violation. This is not a slap on the wrist. It's a number specifically designed to make huge global corporations sit up and pay very close attention. So where does that 2 billion dong penalty come from? It's from this. Law 134, which goes into effect March 1st, 2026. And this isn't just some local regulation. No, this is a landmark piece of legislation. It's the very first binding AI regulation in all of Southeast Asia, and it sets a huge precedent that affects any U.S. company with users, manufacturing, or really any operational footprint in the region. So let's put it all together. You've basically got a two-front war on your hands. On one side, you have the Pentagon with a compliance ultimatum that threatens your U.S. contracts and your revenue. And on the other side, you have Vietnam's AI law, a brand new regulatory minefield threatening direct, multi-million-dollar fines that mess with your global operations. All right, the risks are real, they're serious, and they are happening right now. So the big question is, what on earth do you do about it? Let's pivot from the problem to the solution with a simple 4-step safety plan to help you get back in control. Okay, step 1, audit. You need a complete inventory of every single AI tool you use. I'm talking about everything from the official enterprise software to the shadow AI your teams are using without telling anyone. Step 2, map. You have to trace exactly where your AI touches the rest of the world, from DC to Dawning. That means understanding data residency and all your supply chain touchpoints. Third, get some experts. This is not a do-it-yourself job. You need specialists who live at that crazy intersection of U.S. defense policy and new Asian regulations. And finally, and this one is so important, monitor constantly. The old way of doing an annual policy review, it's dead. You need a system that's tracking regulatory updates almost in real time. But look, getting through this minefield isn't just about having the right software or a checklist.
there's one more piece to this puzzle that is absolutely essential to getting it right, and that's human oversight.
This quote from Moody's just nails it perfectly. Your automated compliance tools, they're going to be fantastic at flagging 99% of the problems. They'll spot all the patterns, but it's that last 1%, the anomalies, the weird stuff, the edge cases, that's where you need a smart human to jump in, investigate, and figure it out.
So really, the main takeaway here is simple, but it's incredibly powerful. You have to automate the process to handle the sheer scale and speed of all this. But when it comes to managing the actual risk, that has to stay in the hands of skilled people. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Your company's AI is getting smarter every single day. The real question you need to answer is your compliance strategy going to keep up?